Hey everybody, it's episode 365 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Potentially fighting a sinus infection with a super busy weekend ahead of me, so I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, you're fine. Just be better before Saturday.
If it's a sinus infection, if it's anything, it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, so we're postponing Saturday.
I'll keep you guys informed, obviously. You know that.
So, before we actually get into things, I literally just saw this on the internet. Rich, this might be something of interest to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new narrative podcast starting. It's called Love is a Crime. It's going to be starring John Hamm and Zooey Deschanel.
I like Zooey Deschanel.
I love John Hamm.
I don't know if I know John Hamm.
You do.
Yeah, he's been in a lot, but he was Don Draper in Mad Men.
Yeah.
What was he just in that it was a comedic role? Fuck.
I don't know.
So, Rich, this won't mean much to you, but in Parks and Rec, do you remember the end of season 6 when they do that time skip and they show it's before so I think season 7 is the last season if I remember correctly. Season 6 ends with the Unity concert and then the closing bit is the 3-year time jump.
Yeah.
So the guy that Leslie fires is John Hamm.
Yeah, see that guy. I'm looking up his IMDb now. I've never, as far as I can tell, I've never watched or seen anything.
He was in Black Mirror. He was in the Black Mirror where it was all in somebody's head.
What's the name of the episode?
I'm trying to figure it out now. At least I think he was in it.
I don't see Black Mirror listed on his IMDb, and I went all the way back to 2016.
No, I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now. It says he guest starred in an episode of Black Mirror.
In White Christmas. Okay, there's the Christmas episode.
Yeah, I was just not going far enough down.
Oh, he was that guy. Okay, so that's the one thing besides Parks and Rec, which he was in for 30 seconds, so I don't fully count that.
But it was such a good 30 seconds. Oh, did you never watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I made it through 3 episodes. I could not. I didn't like that show at all.
Because that's who he was. He played the Reverend Richard Wayne Gary Wayne, who is the guy that he's the guy that abducted Kimmy and a bunch of other women and kept them in a bunker for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
He was absolutely hilarious in that show. That guy's amazing.
Yeah.
But I also like Zooey Deschanel, and but that's a hell of a cast for a fucking podcast. But it's the little synopsis on the thing for it is when Hollywood mogul Walter Wagner, John Hamm, shot an agent he suspected was having an affair with his actress wife Joan Bennett, Zooey Deschanel, one of the key femme fatales of 1940s film noir. Bennett was the one who paid a public price for her husband's crimes. Joan and Walter's granddaughter, filmmaker Vanessa Hope, and film historian podcaster Karina Longworth tell the untold story of the Bennett-Wagner romance and professional partnership, a film noir played out in real life. And it launches on August 17th. It looks like there's a trailer up right now.
I'll have to check it out. Sounds interesting. But when you say it's a hell of a cast, I'm like the Angel of Vine, which me and Jordan listened to. Joe Manganiello, Constance Zimmer.
Okay,
Alan
yeah, no,
Tudyk,
that's...
Mike Coulter, Misha Collins, Carrie Payton, Nolan North,
I
Mercer,
didn't mean that...
Willingham.
So I didn't mean that other narrative podcasts didn't have casts. I just don't listen to them.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of big narrative podcasts. The Wolverine one has, I believe it was Sabretooth from the new X-Men, from the First Class X-Men. I think it was that Sabretooth playing Wolverine.
Sabretooth wasn't in
First Class. Origins.
Oh, Liv Schreiber.
Yeah, he was Wolverine in that, I believe.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's just not my cup of tea. So the only ones I've ever listened to were those 2 that we just talked about last week. And they didn't have any names in them as far as I could tell when they were reading off the credits at the end of them. So I just assumed it was usually just small name voice actors, stuff like that.
Yeah. I lied. It wasn't Liv Schreiber. It was Richard Armitage, who's still equally as big.
Yeah, that's a name I know.
Yeah, he does a lot of voice things too. He was in the Castlevania series on Netflix. I think he was Oh, what's the Belmont, right? That's the family. Belmont.
Yeah.
I think he was either Alucard or somebody, one of the Belmonts, whoever they used for that series. I have to go back and finish watching that. I only ever watched the first season.
Bob Balaban was in that as well. You would know him if you saw him. Scott Addis, you'd also know him if you saw him.
Yeah, I don't recognize the names.
I'm trying to see.
He's Trevor Belmont.
There we go.
Let's see season 2. What was the cast? Because who played? Bill Heck played Gambit in season 2.
I feel like I've heard that name, but I don't know.
Yeah, that name sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I mean the biggest name is obviously Richard Armitage, but Bill Irwin played somebody and played a main character in season 2. I never actually finished season 2. I need to get back to that one.
You know what? I just realized Beastcast used to do ad reads for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a period of time, I think probably during the first season of it, that they had paid ads for that Wolverine podcast. Because I remember them mentioning Richard Armitage, and that was basically the only thing out of the entirety of the ad read that any of them seemed to recognize.
Yeah. It was good. The first season was really good. But it is much better if you can binge it rather than watch it. Listen to it week to week. And I listened to season 2 week to week and kind of fell off it because it's kind of the same. Like, it's something that I'd much rather binge within a few days rather than having to wait 8 to 10 weeks to get the. But that Zoe Deschanel podcast sounds interesting. But speaking of surprise announcements in podcast, not in podcasts, but in casting, can we just acknowledge that holy shit, Idris Elba is going to be fucking Knuckles in Sonic 2?
I think it's more impressive that he apparently has a total knockout against a real kickboxer.
Hey, he's 100% in kickboxing, so there we go. He's the man. Fucking
I really like him too. What were we? What was he? He was in Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
So we were watching that, and I look over at Erica, and I'm like, he was the boss on The Office that hated Jim, and she stopped, looked at him, he said something, and then went, "Holy shit!"
He's such a good actor, and the fact that they got him in The Office before his career really broke out is amazing.
Yeah, and I liked him on The Office.
Yeah.
It's funny though, when they cast him, when you sent that thing that they cast him as Knuckles, I'm like, does he have a young child? Is that the thing? He has a 10-year-old that Sonic, that he's gonna just go do the Sonic movie because actors do that sometimes, and I feel like he is just a different type of actor to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he does. It looks like he does have a child that is somewhere around the age of 10, so that might be the case, or he might just like the people that are working on it. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe he'll talk about why he decided to take the role in his press tour, and we'll find out. But I'm just I'm blown away that they're getting fucking Idris Elba to play fucking Knuckles.
Yeah, I mean, for that movie, while it should not have been good, was actually very good.
Yeah. And
they got the right people for the roles. Jim Carrey was the perfect get for Robotnik.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Schwartz is... He's got that manic energy to him that works really well for Sonic.
Yeah.
But anyway, other than that stuff, Rich, what's on the agenda for this afternoon, this evening, whatever today is?
For this podcast, because you could be listening to it tomorrow or the day later or next week, who knows? On this podcast, the docket is we're going to be talking a little bit about the Bleach Anniversary One-Shot. Wasn't the 20th anniversary of Bleach or some shit like that? I can't remember. 25th.
Yep,
maybe.
20th anniversary.
Then the three of us played at least some form or length of the Back 4 Blood Early Access Beta. And the beta continues this weekend coming up, and it's open. So try it out if you want to. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Then Chris has a question for all of us about revisiting past video games.
Actually, this was your question.
I guess it was my question. I can't remember things anymore, you know that.
I literally put under there from you.
Yeah, I guess you did. I'm not fully reading it. Look, I might have a sinus infection. I'm all loopy, you know that. Then I believe we all watched Suicide Squad. And so we're going to have discussion about that.
That seems accurate. Also, I think only you and I played Back 4 Blood, right? Drew, you didn't get a chance to?
I didn't play any.
Okay.
I didn't play any this weekend. I didn't have time to play, so I wasn't going to go take a beta key from someone.
Are you gonna
honestly, you could have. The beta keys were fucking free as hell. Like,
sure, I literally had 0 time to play this week.
I played for like an hour and a half tops. But we'll get into that when we get to back.
Yeah. So, but Rich, you were right. It is the 20th anniversary of Bleach. And it's the 5th anniversary of the ending, too, because the manga ended in 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know when exactly in 2016, but 2021 is the 5th anniversary of that. They're supposed to be doing... I know we talked about this a while ago, but they're doing the final arc. They're supposed to be animating it. I think that it was supposed to be this year, but I think that got delayed or postponed or whatever because of COVID.
Not surprised, but yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, they just released it was like a 78-page one-shot this past week. That is set in the time skip at the end. So I know you didn't like read it, but there's like a time skip at the end of the final arc in the manga where it jumps ahead. I don't know, 10, 12 years. They say 12 years in this. That's right. So it's 12 years later. Ichigo is still a Soul Reaper, like in our world and everything like that. He's married. He has a child. All that fun stuff. And the sort of it was a nice setup for the one shot where it gave an excuse to literally kind of check in with all of the Soul Reaper characters.
Yeah.
We didn't actually get to see Chad or Ishta or we saw Inoue for like a panel. Like literally like she was on a panel dipping her head in saying goodnight to her son, and that was that. But we saw every captain, and I believe we also saw every vice captain.
Okay.
But it's basically they set it up that there is a tradition in Soul Society that 12 years after a captain dies, in battle, there is a ritual done where they capture a hollow and basically kill it in front of that captain's grave. So all of the vice captains go to the human world to capture a hollow, to take it back to Soul Society to slay it. It's a little weird though, because it's the vice captains go get the hollow, but only the captains are allowed to go to the ceremony, the ritual thing.
Yeah.
And at this point, Rukia is a captain because her captain is dead. The guy that was always sick, he is the one that they're doing the thing for.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Renji still vice captain. Which, that sucks for him. But they actually set it up where he is called. So for whatever reason, in Soul Society they now have fucking smartphones, which is hilarious. And it's basically Uehara, the sandals guy, and I always forget the captain's name, who's the super creepy science captain.
I don't think anyone remembers his name. They just know him as super creepy science captain.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, we all know who you're talking about. I think Druten even knows who we're talking about, and he's never watched the show.
Hey, I watched like a couple episodes way back when.
You probably know who we're talking about.
Yeah, like if you saw a picture of him, you'd be like, "Oh, I've seen that motherfucker before."
Yeah, probably. I could not place names on like any of the characters, really any of them, honestly. But
which is valid. But those two apparently are basically like competing with each other for like who can invent the most cool shit for Soul Society. So like they just have smartphones that they can do FaceTime and shit on now, and the captain sends out like little drones that project holograms of himself to give messages and shit. Like it's very weird. But it's the setup is Ichigo is actually being invited to the captain ceremony because he had a like pre-existing relationship with the I can't remember the captain's name, the Rukia's old captain, basically.
Yeah.
And like he is the only non-captain that's also an outsider that's being invited. And so like that gets it on his radar, and then all the vice captains come to catch a hollow, and these weird hollows end up attacking them. They're like giant, and instead of having a hole in them, they have like a ring that like extends off of like their like neck, shoulder, back area that creates a circle above them.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. And so those things start attacking them. All of the vice captains end up taking them out. But then somebody who was actually one of the villains in the final arc that was killed by Renji shows up as one of these things also. And he goes on to explain that when a hollow is killed, that their like essence is basically sent to hell.
Yeah.
Like, and apparently anyone that's a captain or higher, or a captain class or higher, their power is so high that their like spirit energy can't go back into Soul Society. So they also get banished to hell, and just nobody realizes it. And so this guy somehow like broke out of hell as like this new form of hollow, where I didn't totally understand what he meant, but they've basically moved the hole from their body to like outside of their body. That's why the ring is above them, and it makes them more powerful and essentially undetectable.
Yeah.
But it ends with him being defeated, basically. But it's also kind of a cliffhanger. Like, it's set up in a way where if they wanted, like, this could be a whole nother arc. Like, they could do, like, a sequel series.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that would, honestly, like, assuming, like, I can't remember the author's name. What is it?
Tetsei Kubo.
Thank you. There you go. Assuming, like, he has the desire to do it, and I assume it's Shonen Jump is what that book was in. Assuming they actually want to do it also, and, like, don't have him rush a conclusion again. That could actually be really cool to just kind of, like, come back and maybe, like, give it one more arc and actually do it right, instead of as good as that 1,000-Year Blood arc was. It was super rushed in the ending of it.
Yeah. There's only 74 volumes. No, that's
only.
No, well, that's volume, not like release, not chapters.
Well, that would mean it's 74 mangas. Is what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot less than I had thought there were.
Well, because remember, like, in Japan at least, they get released weekly. Well, Bleach was a weekly release, so it released every week for 15 years, give or take.
Yeah.
But I think chapter-wise, it was like 500 chapters or something like that.
Almost 700.
Almost 700.
686.
Because, I mean, Kubo's still working on Burn the Witch. So...
no, that's over.
I mean, according to his wiki, at least, it says 2020 to present. If it's over, then maybe he could jump back, do a sequel series or something. I would much rather him go back to fucking Zombie Powder and finish that than do a new Bleach. Because he already did a new Bleach with fucking Burn the Witch.
Did Burn the Witch become an actual weekly thing?
It says 2020 to present weekly Shonen Jump, collected in one volume so far. That's according to wiki. I don't know, and there's no source to it, so...
So the actual... I'm on the Burn the Witch manga page on wiki. So it was a 4-chapter season that ran August to September of last year. Mm-hmm. And then a second season of the manga has been announced. So he really just did... He did that one-shot from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then did 4 basically issues of it, and then at some point they'll do another 4 issues. So, like, there's probably time to do a run of Bleach as just like hey, here's like a proper wrap-up to this, since the last one was rushed.
Yeah.
And it's the anniversary. Like, it's a good year to do it, especially if the anime adaptation got postponed. Because, like, you finished the anime, like, that final arc was not the best place to end it.
No, it wasn't. They found a good way to make that feel like an ending by not leaving any cliffhangers or anything, but it ended with Ichigo getting his powers back, his Soul Society powers back, which is just like, that's freaking awesome. But that's it. Like, I'm like, I want more. I want, like, there has to be more.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a whole lot more.
There was a whole... It's like, it's one of the best arcs of the fucking series. Is the war the war with the Quincy.
The Quincy's.
The Quincy War. Like,
yeah, like it had so many cool character moments. It went into the history of the world a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot of character death. Like, they killed a lot of people off there, and a lot of people just got like cool moments. Like, even the captain of the 4th, the medical squad, like, finding out about like her actual backstory and all, like, and seeing what her Bankai was. It was just completely unexpected.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a cool one-shot, and if it's on... I don't know if it's free, but it's on the Shonen Jump mobile app, and that thing's only $1.99 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I want to get back more into anime and stuff. I don't know if I can read manga right now. I don't know if it'd be worth it, even if it's $1.99. Even though I pay more than that for Dropout, and I only watch that like once every couple of weeks.
Yeah, like there's just enough on the Shonen Jump app that I read as it comes out now. Because like I've been reading My Hero, Dragon Ball Super, and this thing called Spy vs. Family or Spy X Family. That's worth $2 a month.
Yeah.
Like, that is cheaper than one comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, Back for Blood was the early access beta.
Yeah.
That was an awful segue.
It was definitely an awful segue. But we'll just roll with it. Yeah, I played for probably like an hour and a half. I played over 2 sessions. The first session I played like 2 levels of the first chapter, and I was just kind of bored because there wasn't a lot of hordes coming at us or anything. I think I was also kind of playing on like the easiest difficulty because I was just trying to figure out what the game was like.
It defaults you to what is, I assume, the easiest because it's like veteran and then it goes up from there.
Yeah, and like the middle difficulty was like increased team damage, and I was just like, that's stupid. That's it. It didn't say anything. I was just like, you deal more damage to your team. It didn't say like more zombies or anything. It's just like, I'll just play the normal, whatever it defaults to, and just go from there. Yeah, it was fun though. Like I wasn't bored like I hate playing this game. I was bored because I was expecting more. But it's the first mission. You're learning the mechanics, and I was a dumbass. I was using a sniper rifle, which is kind of boring in those.
Yeah, that game is way too fast paced to actually use that sort of thing. Except, did you make it through all of Act 1?
No, I only did the first 3 levels because when I went to play the third area, I went to just continue from where I was instead of start a whole new run through of the chapter, and it couldn't find me players to play with right away, so it set me up with 3 other bots. Eventually, somebody was able to join my game, but it spawned them at the beginning of the map, not near me, and then it was the part of the mission where you have the minigun and the gravel is dropping down. You have to like fend off the hordes of zombies before until the gravel fills up high enough, and then jump over everything. Do you remember that part?
Vaguely.
But it was like it was there, and like you could pick up a mountable mini cannon, and I did that. And so
I remember the mini cannon.
Or like the minigun, whatever you want to call it. And so we fend off the horde, we jump over the little train thing, drop down, go to the safe room, and we close the door and nothing's happening. And it's just me and the other guy and one of the bots. And we're looking around like, why isn't it ending? And the dude jumps on. He's like, oh, is he on the minigun? Uh-oh. And so we go back, and the fucking bot is just still sitting there on the fucking minigun. And we can't get to him to, like, move him off the minigun or pick the minigun up and replace it or whatever. He's just sitting there on the minigun. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. And I just end it and stop playing.
That's kind of rough.
Yeah. So hopefully they fix that AI issue. Maybe make it so that maybe the bots don't have to be in the safe house in order to progress forward. Because that's how Left 4 Dead was.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Only the player characters had to be there. If you're gonna have the bot, recognize a planted weapon and go to that immediately, then you have to have it recognized when there's no enemies around to get off that weapon. But also, if it glitches out, you have to make it so that just only the players have to make it to the safe house.
Can you issue commands to the bot at all?
Maybe I might there is I didn't mess around too much with the controls. I was just frustrated at that point, and probably around when I started not feeling good with the sinus infection, that I was just over it. That you can issue similar to Apex, you can tag things here's a weapon there's a weapon here, there's ammo, whatever. Here's an upgrade and shit like that. So maybe I could have been hey, come on, let's move forward, and issue a command that maybe the bot would have followed. But the game it's Left 4 Dead, so it's made to be played with 4 people and not a person and 3 bots. So, there's probably not legitimate commands for the bots.
Yeah, but you would hope in 2021, they'd figure that shit out.
Yeah, but...
And they may have actually figured that out already, and it's just not in the build of the game that is part of the beta.
True.
Because you have to figure the beta is...
That in the fucking beta.
They may have just figured it out, because that beta has been ready and uploaded for probably 2 weeks without any patching.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming even early access beta stuff for at least for PlayStation probably has to go through the same hoops that you have to go through to even issue any sort of patch to a game, which is costly. WB can afford that part of it, but it's also time consuming. So rather than wasting the time and effort on patching the beta unless it's completely broken and unplayable, just get the feedback from people so you know what they disliked about it and fix it in the full game.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of what the beta's for. It's to let people get an idea of what it's like, but it's to find out what's broken and stress test the game and everything.
Yeah, and test servers and whatnot. And it was such a... First of all, I did not realize this game was a WB game when I was all excited for it. I didn't know it was a WB game. So that threw me through a loop. But also, the way that you had to go about getting the early access beta keys if you didn't pre-order the game was just nuts.
Yeah, I didn't realize. So I got the key, a Facebook group, somebody on there posted the 3 links, and they're just hey, here's 3 beta keys if anybody wants them.
Yeah, according to my brother, he just signed up for it and got it. Apparently he's special. I don't know. But everything I read everywhere said to get a key, you need to link your Twitch account with your WB account. So you had to first create a WB Games account. Link them. Watch, make sure you enable drops. Watch a streamer stream the game for an hour who has drops enabled. Then you will be able to claim your drop. Claim your drop, then go onto WB Games website and not the Back for Blood game website. Because the WB Games website, sign in, claim your code, and play. It was so weird. But, it's the early access beta and not, the open beta. So it makes sense to, make people have to do things. Because this was the pre-order bonus and shit like that. That's what this was supposed to be.
Yeah, and so I think, other than what you just described, pre-ordering it, and there was also just a sign-up. That if you signed up for a chance at early access, you might get it.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably...
Which is probably what Eric did.
Yeah, Eric probably just signed up for a chance to get it and he was maybe they were once the beta started, they were just giving it to everyone who signed up for it. Who knows? But overall, the game it's interesting. The best way to explain it for someone who hasn't played it like Druten, it's PvE Apex with zombies.
Well, calling something Apex implies it's a battle royale. It's fucking Left 4 Dead. Call it the thing it is.
It's got the loot mechanics.
It's got the loot mechanics.
Apex.
When I'm calling it Apex, it's just the gameplay. Besides being a battle royale, there is PvP, but that's why it's a PvE Apex, because you pick up your weapons, which have varying degrees of rarity and such. Then you can... So,
Apex does not have varying degrees of rarity on their guns.
Well, not your weapons, but you pick up your weapons, and then you have varying degrees of rarity on all the attachments for your weapon. And you find those throughout, or you can buy them if you find enough gold. As you complete objectives, or just find gold on the ground. When you get to safe houses, you can buy equipment and things like that. But it's you can find a red dot scope, but you might find a ×2 scope later that you can replace with, or you can you can have a primary weapon, which is sniper rifles, like M16s, whatever. Then secondaries, which are your melee weapons, and then your pistols and whatnot, smaller Uzis and shit. And it's you go around, you have objectives to complete. But there is the loot system of upgrading your weapon as you play through the mission. And the starting chapter looked freaking long as hell. It wasn't short. What looked to be in that beta, I wish I had been able to actually play through it all. And if that glitch hadn't happened, I probably would have. But it looked like it was going to take a number of hours, and not just an hour or two. It looked like it was going to be 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, it is apparently a pretty... There was a lot of content there. I I played the first 4 chapters of Act 1. I had a completely different experience than you, though, because I actually had a group of 4 strangers playing, and just there was nobody thought about anything, it seemed. Like, we got through the first 3 chapters, or whatever you want to call them, pretty easily because it was straightforward. You literally just had to not die and get to the safe room.
Yeah.
But like nobody was stopping to look for upgrades or anything like that. They were all just like powering through, and then unless they just bumped into something, like if they just bumped into an item, they would open the box or whatever to see what was in there.
Yeah.
And then when we got to Act 4 or Chapter 4 of Act 1, there's an actual objective there, and it's a similar, come out of the safe room, make your way through a couple hordes. You have to blow a hole in a wall, deal with hordes that had the mutations in it, and it had like 2 or 3 mutations in it. Then make your way across like an overpass bridge over water, and then through a boat onto the other side of the boat, and the boat is just a constant spawn of infected things. Okay. And both the normal ones and the mutated ones. Mm-hmm. And you get to like this group of other survivors that are trying to take the boat down. And whoever's in charge there's like, all right, I'm going to need 2 of you to grab these bombs and go plant them on the boat while the rest of us cover you. And the 3 people on the team just all ran to the boat. No one picked up a bomb. And then everybody died. And then you get 3 continues. So unfortunately when it reloads at the beginning of the chapter. Yeah. So everyone kind of took their time getting through the chapter the first time, like clearing the area and then moving on to the next. The next 3 times they all just ran through it and didn't clear anything, so there were just constantly zombies coming at all angles, and there was no cooperation, nobody like trying to help other people if they were caught or anything like that, so just everyone kept dying. Yeah. And it was just, and at that point it's like, all right, it was actually a cool game. Like, the shooting was fun, the aim assist was way too aggressive. I didn't go into settings to see if there was like any sort of toggles for it. I'm sure there are. Mm-hmm. But, and we talked about this a little bit on the chat, Rich, but at least on Xbox, when I hit R2 to like aim down sights, if there was an enemy within a few feet of where my target was, it would snap to them. Like, to the point where all I had to do was kind of like be pointed in the direction of a horde and just let on and off of the left trigger and then pull the right trigger, and I would just one-shot everything.
Oh yeah, I was playing, I was using a controller on my PC playing it, and it's, the aim assist, if you're using a sniper rifle, the aim assist is so strong that, like, you quickscope, basically. You tap and shoot at the same time, almost always headshot. It's insane. As long as you're in the general area, it seemed like it was gonna aim right on there. It was pretty intense, but, I mean, I guess that should, if you're getting attacked by tons of hordes, or tons of zombies, you kind of might need that little bit of assistance, because it kind of seemed like body shots really didn't do much anyway, which is how a zombie game should be.
No, I mean, body shots, at least in my case, were just taking them out immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't need headshots to kill these things.
And I was using, when I was using a sniper rifle, I was using a really powerful sniper rifle, so body shots would take them, but it would, like, blow them apart, basically. When I was using the pistol, I'd have to, like, hit them a few times in the body to stop them, or a headshot, and that's generally what I went for with headshots.
So I never used the pistol. I had different sorts of automatic rifles and stuff like that. So those things tended to take things down pretty quickly, even without headshots. And so we'll talk about this in a second, but one of the cards I had replaced my punch with a stab. Like, right. It gave me a knife.
Yeah, I had that too.
2 stabs and they were dead, even when they weren't headshots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like, that's part of the starter pack for cards. Like, everyone had that, and that was one of the ones that I was running with too. I liked that, like, you got to select your character at the beginning. So,
and again, it did have a difference. Like, different characters had different abilities and traits and whatnot.
Exactly. So, like, again, like, similar to Apex. Like, they really took a lot of notes from, like, Apex or just the Battle Royale style and turned it into a PvE game, which I like. They didn't take anything from Fortnite, thank God, so there's no tower building. but like they took like the idea of finding the loot all around and upgrading your weapons as you go through, and each character has their different like abilities that makes them better or worse. I liked it. It's like,
they pulled in stuff from a lot of the popular multiplayer games of the last 5 or 6 years. Like even just with the characters and the abilities and all. Like Overwatch also did a similar thing, which is another team-based shooter.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, like a lot of the gear, equipment, accessory sort of thing is very battle royale. Like Fortnite, I'm not sure because I've never played it, but I know like PUBG had similar systems. Apex definitely has similar systems.
Fortnite is just there are colored loot levels of like the assault rifle or whatever.
Yeah,
like and that'll have different attachments like pre-equipped on it. But also, like, I mean, they really weren't all that different, which is part of why Fortnite sucks.
Yeah, I mean, people love it, so good for Epic for making all of the money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do have this card system, which I didn't get into, like, customizing the deck or anything, but it was a cool idea where at every chapter, you basically draw, like, a few more cards, and you get new cards as you're playing, too. And they have generally some sort of benefit, whether it's additional health, additional ammo, additional stamina. Like Rich and I were saying, we each had a card that added a knife to your melee attack. So instead of just punching somebody, you'd be stabbing them. There were others that I'm just drawing a blank on what they did right now, but they all stacked. So every chapter, you got to pick a new card, and it would stack onto the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't forced to pick like, oh, do I want to keep using the knife add-on, or do I want to try something different this time? It's like, oh, my knife is always there. Let's add more health.
The thing I wasn't all too thrilled about with that system, like, I think the system's really good, but there's no minimum deck size. So if, say, each mission or each chapter or whatever is 10 missions, and you have 10 super overpowered cards, you're always going to have those 10 in your lineup. Whereas, like, if you incorporated a system like that with a card minimum, like a deck size minimum of, like, 20, it makes that Gambit system a little bit more of, like part of the gameplay where you have to actually figure out what you're going to choose instead of like, oh, I know I'm going to get all these, so I'm just going to grab them.
Well,
you can have your deck as small or as big as you want, and if the missions are only 5 levels long and you have 5 cards in your deck, you're going to put 1 in each, and by the end you're going to have all the cards that you brought in.
Okay, because when I was reading one impressions of the beta, that's not how it seemed like that card system worked, but I don't know. I know better.
Like, I went into it and, like, I went in, I bought 4 of the 5 available cards you could buy because from just completing objectives, you were given game money to buy them.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, I bought the 4 of the 5 and I went through and I added them, but, like, when I was looking through, I only had, like, 6 cards available or something like that. And that's, like, the starter deck was only X amount of cards. And I don't think the cards duplicate with the randomness. It's just every time it's random which cards come up. But if you already have a card in your inventory, or if you're already using a card, that card's not going to come up again. So if you only have 7 cards and there's 7 rounds and you take 1 each, after 4 rounds you're going to have blank spots in your hand because you're not drawing any more cards. Well, that's the way I took from it. I didn't get to that point because of the glitch that just made me over it.
Well, so the 2 things I'll say from the impressions that I read is, 1, the acts are 4 chapters long.
Okay.
Like, that's it. So, and 2, it seemed like the starting deck was 15 cards, and could you go remove cards from the deck?
I swear it only showed, like, less than 10 cards. Like, I was going, like, it looked like there weren't that many cards in the starting deck, but I'd have to play around with it, and I might, if I have, like, a few minutes here or there this weekend to try. But, like, you might be able to, you can create your own deck from scratch. So you could go pick your 4 best and just have those 4 best in your deck. Well,
and then the third thing I saw, just real quick, it seemed like the first beginning of chapter 1, like, it just gives you 1 card, but then it's I could have misread it. It also could have been a PvP thing, and I'm confusing how it worked with the PvP, but then it sounded like it drew 3 cards in the next round and you had to pick one of them. Like, you didn't just get all 3.
Well, no, that's what it is, though. You pick one each round.
Right, but are the other 2 discarded and you don't get them?
No, because
to come back the rest of the chapters?
I got 4 or 5 cards drawn the first mission or the first act or whatever of the chapter. However many it was, 4 or 5. I picked one.
Okay.
The next chapter, 4 of the 5 were the same 4 that I didn't pick from before, and 1 new one.
Okay.
And then the next chapter, 4 of those 5 were the same and 1 new one. So it's just, your hand is always to what it seemed like with what I was experiencing, your hand is always going to stay the same until you use those cards. Now, maybe there's cards that lets you do like multiple cards at a time or something like that. I don't know. Like
there may also be like a discard option or something like that. Like, I did not get, because I was playing with a bunch of random people, I was trying not to spend a lot of time like opening up random menus and just staring at shit.
Sure. Because
you are like, as soon as you get into the game and you're ready, you're waiting for the other people to also be ready.
They give you 200 seconds to decide. Like, you could have gone through your 5 cards and like read what your 5 cards were and whatnot.
Oh, no, I did that, but I wasn't like clicking on menus to see like, oh, well, is there a way to just like reshuffle all these cards and get 5 new ones?
I mean, I would have been in that card menu right there if there was. Like, the card menu wasn't like a menu, because you played it, Kyle. Like, the first thing you see before the mission is the corruption card first, that's drawn for the game, for the enemies, and then your player cards. And it draws the 5 cards and you pick your one. Like, there might have been a reshuffle, who knows? But, like, you can't even edit your cards while you're in game. You have to go in the main hub in order to edit your cards in your deck.
Yeah, and talk to the lady that's sitting at the card table, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a hub to everything where one person you talk to will let you load into PvE campaigns, quick play, PvP, like all the different game modes. Another person will let you customize your deck. There were a few other people that let you do some different stuff, and there is basically a shooting gallery where you can go through a thing, and they have tables set up with all of the variety of weapons, but they are all the highest quality of that type of weapon. So if you're going to grab a sniper rifle, it is going to be the best sniper rifle in the game. And then similar to like your Apex or your PUBG, like that sniper rifle is basically useless until you also grab like a scope for it and put a scope on it.
Yeah, and so it has all the highest quality attachments for all the weapons as well. So you can play around with your loadout and figure out what your preferred loadout is.
Okay.
Yeah, the only real drag to it is you're testing it with the best, so you might not find that same exact scope because that is the epic scope for the game.
But like, you would find that scope, it would be it would be a green instead of a purple, so maybe 2 points lower. It's still going to be
exactly
that same scope. It's still going to have that same play style, but your range might be 2 inches less than.
Yeah, and I don't know if I just was missing the high magnification, but I didn't find any scopes in that shooting gallery that had like really good magnification for like for the sniper rifle to be able to reasonably accurately hit the targets that were at like the end of the field from up there.
There was a decent scope, if I remember.
I may have just missed it.
Bit. Yeah, there's a lot of attachments, so you could have missed it. Like there's a lot that you're like, and there's 2 tables, and each sets of tables has different weapons on it, so maybe different attachments are with each.
There were actually 4 tables because there were front tables like that you'd be facing towards the field, plus like the big back ones that we're both talking about.
Yeah. I did like when you shot something that blew up, say you shot a barrel that blows up or like a car or something, like fire rains out of it. It doesn't just explode. So bits of fire will like maybe like 4 fireballs will explode out of it and hit the ground around as well and light the ground around on fire too.
Yeah, and the zombies will just keep running through that and dying, which is super helpful in certain situations. I mean, you can also pick up gas cans and stuff like that, and
yeah.
My biggest problem is you don't get a good throw on that stuff. Like, you can't hold the left trigger to get like a here's where this is going to land thing. You just kind of have to toss it and hope it goes where you want it to.
That is very much a Left 4 Dead style. Like,
I never played Left 4 Dead.
In Left 4 Dead 2, I think you could grab things in Left 4 Dead 1. I can't remember, but I know in Left 4 Dead 2, if you were trying to transport like gas cans or what's it called, like propane tanks, like you would just have to aim up and throw. Like you just kind of have to hope. There's no like actual reticle to tell you how far you're throwing it. There might have been power, but I can't full. It's been a while since I played.
Yeah, but I don't know. Oh, I liked it. You also there were a lot of hordes. There were a lot of mutated zombies that have different sort of abilities that were harder to kill in one way or another. Mm-hmm. Or ones that just, if you killed them and you were a little too close, they exploded and did a bunch of damage to you. And there were those flocks of crows that if you disrupted them, it then called a horde in.
Yeah. Which
did not realize the first time I blew one of those things away.
I didn't realize when I saw a horde of crows at the very beginning of the third chapter, or the third act, or whatever it would be called. I can't remember. Like I saw a horde of crows, and like I remember it from the previous mission saying like if you alert them, they'll alert the horde. But I thought it just meant like the zombies around you. So I was like, you know what? I killed all the zombies around. Let's shoot this. Let's shoot these crows, and I do, and then zombies come out of the woodwork. And so like I was just like, it threw me off because I was like, I didn't realize it was calling a horde. I thought it was just calling the zombies around. So that it was interesting. It was pretty cool that like that actually happened.
Yeah, I missed that little tooltip. So I just kind of disrupted the birds and then saw the message of I just called in a zombie horde.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoops.
Yeah.
But I had everything muted because as soon as the whole group was on, one of the douchebags just immediately started blaring rap music through their game. So
yeah,
that was immediately muted. Because it's not even the music. It's like it was incredibly loud and just annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have turned around to the dude and be like, bro, like we're all gaming together. I can hear you. Turn off your mic or turn off your like.
Yeah, I didn't have a mic, so I just muted it.
You were playing on your PS5, right?
No.
Oh, you were playing on your PC? I thought you were playing on your PlayStation.
Xbox.
And the Xbox Series
does not have a mic built into the controller. And and honestly, I went into the system and disabled the mic anyway on the PS5 because that is the dumbest fucking feature.
Yeah, I've used it a few times, but not a lot. Mostly for streaming when I wasn't really using my headset. I would have it muted so that there wouldn't be feedback from the game from my like soundbar, and unmute it when I had to talk. But yeah, overall the game has legs. It can be very fun. I'm gonna have to try it on a harder difficulty because I just thought the difficulty I had it on was too damn easy.
I wonder if it's scaled down because you were playing with bots too.
I wasn't playing with bots the first time. The first time I played with 3 other people.
Oh, okay.
It was when I was playing, it was the second time that it was the bots, and it was just it was too easy. So I'll have to like increase the difficulty probably. I do want to try out the PvP, see how that works. But I just want to play the game more and understand the game more before I get into that. I'm still on like after reading what I've read about how it's going to be very microtransaction heavy, and the game is a $60-$70 game on top of that. I'm hesitant to say I'm going to get it right away or not, because like if they have flat out pay to win card packs and shit like that, I'm just gonna be done. I'm not even gonna try.
It's going to be cosmetics. It's going to be a ton of fucking cosmetics, and it's PvE, so pay to win doesn't really matter.
But it's also PvP.
But that's only if you're... And, well, you don't know if the card packs play the same way in PvP. But also, like, the primary bit of the game that they're focusing on is the PvE side.
Mm-hmm. But, like, even on, like, if I'm playing all the time with just my friends, and, like, Alright, yeah, I know we're not all going to be spending money on card packs, so it'll be fine, but if I'm playing, like, with randos all the time, and they all have the greatest things in the world because they spent $50 after spending $60 on a game for all the greatest card packs, I'm just, like, I'm just concerned as to how heavy this game is going to be with microtransaction. Because from what I've heard, they are going to be very microtransaction heavy in this game.
Which, I mean, wouldn't surprise me. I don't know for sure that it is a full $70 game though. I imagine I have a feeling it's going to be $60. But where was I going with this? Oh, I don't expect that microtransactions will be pay to win though, because that would actually be hurting them. Because the focus is on PvE and that asynchronous multiplayer. They're not going to want to give people ways to make that easier.
It's a $60 game. But it would hurt them, but it also, again, it's not just like PvE, there is PvP, and so depending on how like the PvP stuff works with the card system, it could make somebody who doesn't play it that often very obsolete very quickly.
Which, I mean, it's always a possibility, but Drew, what were you going to say?
So things could have changed, because they always can, but the devs have apparently multiple times said if we do any microtransactions at all, it's just cosmetic.
Okay. Which I'll be fine with. Like
they haven't even said there will be any microtransactions, period. So anywhere you've seen saying there's going to be a ton of microtransactions, making shit up. Like, I searched Back for Blood microtransactions, and all the articles would be cosmetic only, won't have pay to win, plan to be cosmetic only.
And, like, that game does seem like one of those, like a Fortnite or something, where they're going to make... If they get the player base, they're going to make a killing on microtransactions, because I want to say it's 8 characters you have to choose from. Does that sound right?
I believe so.
So so let's just go with 8. There's 8 characters. They're always the same. So by getting cosmetics, you can make your version of those characters look different. And let's be realistic, it's probably going to be some sort of like loot box stuff. If it can be. So like people are going to be spending a lot of money to try and get like a look that they like. Mm-hmm. Because that's just how those games go. But I don't know. I definitely won't buy this because it's not my thing. But I'll probably play again during the open beta this coming weekend just to see a little bit more of it. But like having such a just awful experience with random people where like just nobody paid attention to what they actually needed to do. It made the last like 20 minutes I was playing like just lose all of its fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that does not sound interesting.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't know enough, like, I'm not friends with enough people on any platform, let alone enough people that would actually be playing this game at times where I would want to play a game, that I could ever, like, realistically play with other people I know. Because, like, you motherfuckers all play at, like, night and shit. Except for Drew. Drew doesn't play games, so. That's a lie. Lots of Apex, lots of, what's that other, Diablo.
I mean, if anyone played at a time you would play, it would be me.
Yeah. No, that is true. But see, like, I play, like, during the day on a weekend and, like, sometimes between, like, 2 and 5 on a weekday. And, like, nobody's playing at 2 to 5 on a weekday. Like, y'all are working. I am technically working, too. I just don't have any work to do.
Maybe you should be working during work hours. And gaming
I am.
Or maybe from 2 to 5, instead of being all, like, I'm gonna play games, you should, like, do housework stuff so that this way you can cook and be cooked and done, so that from like 7 to 9 you can play games instead of like cooking and whatnot after.
Why would I cook that early and then have cold dinner?
Maybe eat from like 4 to 5 instead of whatever time you eat.
Wife isn't there to eat with them?
You know, that's her fault for not working from home. It's a work from home era, man.
But even when she was working from home, like, she worked until 4:30. Like, she doesn't get upstairs until between 4:30 and 5.
Look, I'm just saying, like, maybe you can find ways around, like, not working from 2 to 5 so that do things you would normally do after work during 2 to 5, and then...
But, like, the stuff we do after work is, like, catch up on shows. And I'm not going to catch up on shows while she's working. That's just silly.
I mean...
We're up to the last season of Smallville. Gotta find out how Clark becomes Superman.
He's always Superman.
No, he hasn't been Superman at all yet. Honestly, the last 2 seasons, he's kind of been, like, pushing that that emo look like 3 years too late. Like, for whatever reason, and I'll talk about this once we actually finish the show. In the last, 2 seasons, I want to say it's been, so season 9 and at least beginning of season 10, his superhero outfit is black pants, a black t-shirt with the white symbol, like the Superman symbol on it, and a black trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what he fucking wears as Superman. It's like, that's not Superman. That's not even the black Superman. I don't know what that is. That's him having his emo phase because he didn't get to have one when he was younger.
It's because Superman sucks, and so he sucks.
Man, you need to watch Superman and Lois because you will change your tune.
Maybe CW verse Superman doesn't suck, but all the rest of Superman sucks.
I don't know. I have enjoyed the just stupidness of Smallville. Like the fact that Lois Lane on that show should have actual brain damage. Like, she should have whatever you get when you're concussed too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Because every episode, she gets knocked out by some sort of hit to the head so that she is unconscious when Clark has to use his powers.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same with just every superhero in a superhero. They should have ALS because they're just constantly getting concussed. Constantly.
Wait, is Lou Gehrig's disease caused by concussions? I thought that was like a genetic thing.
It's a genetic thing.
Okay. Sorry, Rich. I wasn't sure, and that you just totally threw my world for a loop, so I wanted to make sure I didn't start thinking that.
Concussions lead to a lot of issues, and I believe there have been studies. I'm not going to say 100% for sure. I don't know, but I believe there have been studies that do link high concussions to ALS. But I mean, it's been forever, and I haven't done the Ice Bucket Challenge since I did it the one time, so I don't know what new research might have come out since then.
That's fair. Let's move on, though.
Yeah.
Rich, how about this question that you posed that you forgot you posed?
I mean, this was like months ago. Like,
it was like a month and a half ago. It was the beginning of June.
Yeah, I don't remember it. But, have you ever gone back to a game, after playing just the vanilla version and then not playing it again? And like, did you have a good experience, essentially? I really don't remember this question. I'm not even kidding you. Like,
I mean, do you see what you put, like, with the question on the doc, right? Like, I put it underneath there.
Oh, yeah. Picking up games after playing vanilla and how well, yeah. So, like, and this, I guess, probably came around, it came around after, Overwatch implemented crossplay, but also, like, I started playing, No Man's Sky again, and, like, playing games. I forgot that. Look, I told you, I forgot that I raised this question at all. Like, but yeah. So, like, have you ever gone back to a game that you played the vanilla version of, and after like playing vanilla, dropping it, being like, I'll play this again some other time, and you come back, they throw a bunch of fucking updates, and they pretty much turn your world around with this game. Like, what game has that been? Like, what has your experience been with returning to, like, old, potentially live service, but not necessarily live service games? Like, Druten, you played a lot of Diablo 2 in the day. And, like, you played it before
and
they
3.
And 3. But I'm gonna stick with Diablo 2 because I remember, like, vanilla synergies. It was just, like, very straightforward. Yeah. And then they incorporated the synergies, and it, like, threw the game for a loop, because, like, it changed your playstyle, essentially.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like the synergies, at the end of the day, really didn't change much. Like, it made you kind of specialize more with some of the classes.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it didn't. I feel like they wanted it to change the meta in that game more than it actually did.
Yeah.
Like the abilities that were good are still good.
Like, I remember Eric would plan out, he did this quite a few times, he did a teeth necromancer.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just, all he did was leveled up teeth and anything that synergized with teeth to make his teeth the best teeth. And he would just, like, use teeth on his body where it would have, like, the Nova effect, essentially.
Yeah, like a half Nova. It would go in front of you, but as wide of an arc as possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I guess it did make some skills like teeth at all viable of putting more than 1 point in for the prereq for later skills, but Mostly it just was like, oh, those good skills, let's make them even more good.
But like, are there any other games that like you might have played? Like for instance, have they overhauled Overwatch since the beginning till now? Or like I've talked about No Man's Sky a dozen times. I don't have to talk about that again. But all the changes they've done to No Man's Sky with adding an actual legitimate storyline, adding friggin' freighters, and just so much to that fucking.
Overwatch, not so much. I mean, they've added characters. I mean, I'm sure balance change on things have happened, but like I've jumped back in and I'm still good with the same characters I was good with before. Like, I don't feel like, oh shit, I can't play this character anymore, or oh, this new character made playing this other character way different.
Yeah.
I mean, the Diablo 3 loot change relatively big, but
that's actually what I was thinking about especially when Rich like specified to you and mentioned Diablo. That's why I said 3, because 3 made so many big changes after its first 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, like just before the expansion came out, when they changed the loot meta and got rid of the real money auction house. Like,
oh, I forgot all about that.
Oh yeah, that changing and putting more of a emphasis on the loot like legendary and set item dropping more frequently and having things that changed up abilities was a cool thing that game needed. Made that game way better. Trying to think of any other games that like I've gone back to. I feel like there's probably something and I'm just not thinking about it.
Yeah, like I personally don't play a lot of live service games that would have changes like that. The only one that really comes to mind for me is the Marvel Heroes game. It was the Diablo like game.
Okay, right.
I played that. I bought like the founders thing for it when it came out, which was fairly cheap. I think it was only like $30 or $40. Back in, I want to say 2012. I know I was still working with your brother at the time, Rich. And I think we had both done it. And the game came out, and it was the PC version, and I tried it, and it did not click at all. Like, I just did not enjoy it. And then 3 or 4 years later, whenever that game finally, like, the year that game got shut down, it had gone free to play, and it was available on PS4, and I downloaded it, and I started playing it, and just had a absolute fucking ball with it.
Yeah.
I got through the entire campaign prior to them taking the game offline, and they made a ton of really good changes to it. Like, it was much better to play. I unfortunately don't really know what changes were made. I just know it was a much better game by the time like it ended, essentially, than when it started. And I think it was one of those things where the server cost probably wasn't worth what money they were making off of it at the time. And because it had such a lackluster start, I don't think it ever really built its fan base back up.
Yeah.
Plus licensing fees. Like, it was not a Disney run game, so I'm sure there were like fees that the company just didn't want to deal with too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I go back and play like for me, going back to old games is literally going back to like old like story games and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
I play a lot of Mario. Like, I've played Mario 1, 2, and 3 and World more times than I can count.
And
Not so much 2. I never played a lot of 2.
They've never updated those from vanilla to current version?
Actually, you're fucking wrong. Super Mario All-Stars, updated versions of Mario 1, 2, and 3.
And how did it feel to go back?
They are objectively worse than the originals.
Yes. Yeah.
They look prettier, but they don't play better.
Like, I've been trying to think more about this, and like, I remember being into Elder Scrolls Blades when it first came out, and I was like, this is cool, but like, there wasn't much, it felt like. And then as time went on, they've kept adding more and more and more. Like, there was always a story to it, but like, to me, it just seemed lackluster. But the last time I did get into it, I played it for a good while, and like, enjoyed the daily grind of playing Elder Scrolls Blades. Like, I've thought about and considered getting it on the Switch just to see how that plays with the controller, because you in Blades you could play letterbox, or you could play just holding the phone top to bottom. And so, like, I've done both. And the game does certainly feel a little bit better just with the one-hand mode instead of holding it letterbox, just because it was made to be played with one hand. But I want to see if it has that, if it feels better and controls better on, like, a Switch with an actual controller than just on the phone with the fake control sticks and stuff. But there's like a lot of cell phone games do that. Like they change as time goes on because they know they need to. And Bethesda does it did it with Fallout Shelter as well. The original Fallout Shelter was just stupid. Like it was just
it was.
It was build your shelter. Like there was no substance. It was just build your shelter. I think you could send people out, but that was it. Like you there was nothing else to it. But eventually they started adding like actual quest lines, and like when you sent your people out, you could send them in parties, and that you can have them raid locations to like deal damage to like you actually play the quest line in the location and it's just point and click and telling them who to attack and stuff. But it's still like they changed it a lot more than just build your shelter. And from all these updates that they've been doing for Fallout 76, I've been thinking of getting 76 because it is now seemingly a worthwhile game to play. What is it, 3 years after launch?
It may actually even be more than that.
Yeah, 4 years after launch. Like, from what I'm seeing, and the new content update, which I believe is all free. I don't think you have to pay for it. Like, it is now a full game worth playing. And to me, I kind of wish I did play the original 76, just so I knew what it would be like. And then just never played it again until, like, oh, everything is good now. Why don't you come back? And then playing it and trying it now.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe you would have gotten so turned off, no matter what the fuck they did, you'd never go back.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, it's mostly my Steam library that I'd be able to go through. But I'm sure there are games on here that, like, I tried, and initially I was just like, I wasn't about it, and then trying it again later on, I was all for it. But yeah, I can't think of anything right now. The only game that really comes to mind, at least on my Steam library, is 7 Days to Die. I go back to play it all the time. One of my main factors for getting a new PC was so I could go back and play 7 Days to Die, because my old PC couldn't handle that game that's been out for almost 10 years now.
But I feel like that's a little bit of a different case where you always wanted to play that. It's not that you stopped playing it because there were issues with the game. You stopped playing it because your computer couldn't play it.
Yeah. Like, but that's like the crazy thing about that game is that the devs, the fun pimps, they're constantly updating it. They are at Alpha 20 now, or not now. They're 19.6, and they're getting ready to release Alpha 20 soon, which is update on character models for the zombies and location based. Like they've graphically overhauled the game from what it was post the Kickstarter to what it is now. And like it's all for free. And they've even said, like, we are at a point now where we're going to actually throw in the story content too. So this game was originally just a survival zombie game where the gameplay loop is every 7 days a horde of zombie comes at you. But now they're going to actually throw in like a campaign mode, it seems, and a like NPC humans, like bandits that aren't in the game already, which makes some of the, at least for the people who play solo or play just with their friends, it makes some of the level ups more worthwhile that like affect characters more and not anyone else. But yeah, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry I couldn't really remember where I wanted to go with this question. I proposed it however long ago, and I just don't remember.
It happens. We probably would have gotten to this much sooner, but like the last month and a half, we've all actually had, like, there have been things to talk about that didn't require extra discussions to be weaved in. But let's
I was gonna say real quick, Richie, if you do want to play Fallout 76, one, it's on Game Pass, so you could go that route. Two, Bethesda is doing a QuakeCon sale on both Green Man Gaming and Steam, and it's like $13 on Steam right now instead of $40.
Really? I might buy it just to have it.
Yeah, I just sent you guys a link to a QuakeCon sale too. That included.
Yeah, that was the Green Man Gaming link, but it's also on all the same things are on sale on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't look. I had seen Wario 64 share it, and I saw that Doom was only $4.20. And Rich, I know you haven't played that, so
Doom 26, like that game is fucking great.
$13 for Fallout 76. I might get that. I might talk other people. You know what?
I might consider it. Although I might also
hold on. The QuakeCon sale, which is Doom Eternal, Fallout 76, Rage 2, and Wolfenstein Youngblood, is $40 on Steam. $39.23 to get all 4 of those on Steam.
That's not bad. It's just a bummer that it's I mean, it's not a bummer because that's still a good price, but it's the sequel to Doom, so you'd still want to buy Doom 2016 for $5. But you have a PC that can play it, and those games are very good.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fucking those 2 Doom games are so badass. Like, totally worth it. I don't know if they're on sale on console at all, too. If you'd rather play Doom on the PS5.
No, I mean, if it's not something that can be easily played on the Switch, I'm most likely going to get it on the PC. Like, that's what I got this PC for.
You fucking nerd.
What? I honestly, I prefer Switch over everything else. You guys know this. I prefer Switch over anything else. So if it's released multi-platform and I can play it on Switch and it doesn't look terrible on Switch, then I'm going to get it for the Switch. Or if it runs fine on Switch,
if it's released almost nothing at this point going forward is going to run fine on Switch, especially compared to your.
Well, yeah, but like if it's available on PC or PlayStation, I'll probably get it for PC. If it's only available on PlayStation at first, then I'll probably just get it for PlayStation. We'll see. Right now, like I'm looking to be able to utilize this PC more. So like I've thought about getting Fallout 4 on Steam just to get the DLC stuff because it'd probably be cheaper to get Fallout 4 on Steam than to get just the DLC on PS5.
Well, when are you going to start playing like the KFC dating sim or the Dream Daddy game?
No.
Because that seems like really solid stream content right there.
No. Just no. Why is it marked Steam for Fallout? Game of the Year Edition Fallout 4 is $10, which includes all the DLC. So I might do that. Well, I'll have to see if the DLC is on sale on Play. Oh, I can get Skyrim and Fallout 4 Game of the Year for $20.78.
There you go. Buy Skyrim one more time.
That'll only have been my second time of buying Skyrim.
Oh, I thought you had it on Switch also.
Yeah. That's my first time of buying Skyrim. And I technically didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas.
Wait, so you didn't play Skyrim until like 2017?
No, I played Skyrim. Eric had it for the PS3. Eric had it. So when he moved out, he took it.
I mean, when did he moved out before Skyrim came out?
But when did Skyrim come out? Skyrim's 2011. Old, man. 2011.
It was 11/11/11. It was the year before he got married.
Then maybe I did have Skyrim on the PS whatever. And just maybe I did already have it. I don't know.
Maybe you just had it on your Alexa.
Maybe I did.
But you guys want to move on to the Suicide Squad?
Yeah. That was one hell of a movie.
Yeah. So it's out in theaters and on HBO Max. Before we start talking about impressions, I just wanted to throw out there. So a lot of like the news places are calling it a flop because it only made $26.5 million. Against its like $200-ish million budget.
Yeah.
Which is significantly behind what Fast and Furious 9 and Black Widow did. They did $70 million and $80 million respectively.
Yeah.
But like they both came out before the most recent kind of resurgence of COVID. And they also didn't go directly to a streaming platform for the existing subscription price.
Yeah. It's Black Widow. You had to pay $20 to watch it on Disney Plus. $30. Wow, they upped it.
No, it's always been $29.99.
I thought it was always.
No, that was my biggest problem with it. Is all of those early access Disney Plus movies are $29.99.
I thought it was always just $20.
No, if it was $20, I would have done it for every one of those movies that they've done it for because that is less than going to the movies.
Because I could have swore everyone's biggest gripe was always like, well, you have to pay for the thing plus the subscription fee, and it's like $30, and that's what I like. That's I thought it was. I could have sworn Mulan was $20.
Nope, it's been $39.99 or $29.99 plus the cost of the subscription. So after tax and everything, you're paying almost $40 to watch movies that maybe aren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's more than I spend to go to the movie theaters. Like, I did it for Black Widow because I really wanted to see Black Widow, but I want to see Jungle Cruise. I'm not going to do it for that. I'm going to wait until that becomes just part of Disney Plus in a couple of months.
Mm-hmm. Right, I was wrong. It was there. I just had to Google Mulan because I could have swore it was 20. But either way, yeah, like, to see Black Widow, you needed to spend $30 plus a subscription fee, which I'm sorry, I don't include the subscription fee because you already have fucking Disney Plus. Who cares? Like,
not everybody does, though, is the thing. And not everybody keeps it active all the time. So for somebody that just wants to watch this movie, they have to subscribe and then pay extra.
Yeah, for that, sure. For that person, then, yeah, include the subscription fee. But for, like, someone like me or someone like you or Drew, I believe you have Disney Plus all the time anyway, like, don't include the subscription fee because you're already, like, you're going to have that whether or not. It's like saying that, like, you, it's like including the internet in your Netflix bill or something. Like, you're going to have the internet whether or not you're going to have Netflix anyway. So
even then, it's after tax, because you do have to pay tax on it still. It's like $33 for the rental. Yeah. Granted, it's an unlimited rental, but I'm not going to watch one of these movies more than once after renting it, and that's a lot of money for something where, like, if theaters were just like normal, it would cost about $23 for us to go, $24 for us to go. So, like, it's like $6 more for, like, yes, there's the convenience of you being at home, but, like, the quality isn't quite the same, like the sound quality and everything. Like, there is something to be said for going to a movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't originally going to go see Black Widow in the theaters, but my brother had an extra ticket. If he didn't have the extra ticket, somebody else is going to take it, I probably wouldn't have gone, and honestly, I probably wouldn't have seen Black Widow at this point. Because my plan was going to have people over to watch it on, like, a projector in my backyard or something like that. But yeah, you can't call Suicide Squad a flop when it's free to watch if you have an HBO Max subscription.
And even if you don't, it's a $15 subscription. So if you're a family of, like, for Eric, like, not that he's letting the girls watch but Suicide, like, Squad,
if
but
his
like,
girls were 15 or were between 12 and 15 or 12 and older, like, then yeah, like, a family of 4 seeing this movie, $15 over $45-50. I'd take the 15 and just sacrifice the audio quality and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so Suicide Squad was reported from HBO as their number 2, like, of these, like, movie premieres behind reportedly Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat is apparently, like, the number 1 streamer, and the Suicide Squad is number 2. So a lot of people have watched the Suicide Squad that are all paying that $15 a month. I'm sure there was a resurgence of either returning subscribers or new subscribers to watch it too, because it's $15. Like, that is cheaper than a non-matinee movie ticket.
There's a reason they took away the free month, the trial month for this year. There's a reason, and it's for shit like they box office. Yeah, this movie didn't make a lot of money, but they probably made a lot of money on people resubscribing or subscribing to watch this. Yeah,
exactly. Now, Drew, we're going to start with you. What are your sort of spoiler-free impression of the movie?
It was incredibly entertaining. John Cena was hilarious. And I was going to say it's the best DC movie I've seen, but the only other one I've actually, like, seen enough of is the other Suicide Squad. Bad. So it's a low bar, but
it is definitely one of the more entertaining of the DC movies. That is very true. Like, I'd say, like, the first Wonder Woman is still probably the best movie if you're, like, judging it on, like, everything, but this one is definitely up there for just, like, being, like, a quality thing to watch. Now, Rich, what about you?
Yeah, it was an enjoyable movie. It was, like, it kept me interested. I heard some people turn around and be like, there were some flops, but I didn't really think there were too many flops, if any. Like, I thought there were some, like, I thought all the points where they wanted you to laugh, to me, made me, and just the ridiculousness of this movie just made it even better. And Sean Gunn, Actor of the Year. I'm calling it now.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember, who did Sean Gunn do in this one?
Weasel.
Okay, that's what I thought, but then I'm like, oh shit, did he mocap King Shark? Because he mocaps Rocket in,
Yeah, who mocapped King Shark?
I think Steve Agee mocap King Shark, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right. Because, I mean, it was voiced by Stallone, but Stallone did not mocap it.
Yeah, Steve Agee.
But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. My gripe is the characters were great. The story was lacking. Like, I felt like the plot was just kind of like a forced point to just have these characters interact. Like, this movie shined with just the character interactions. Everything going on around it, like, some of the action sequences were cool, but that was about it. Like, the narrative was sort of lacking to me. And I feel like that seems to be the trend with DC movies. The plot either has promise, like Superman or Batman vs Superman, or even like Wonder Woman 2 and the original Suicide Squad. Like, definitely had promise that it didn't sort of fulfill. Or you have movies like this where the plot was kind of lackluster, but the movie was really fun because of the writing and the cast. Like, if this movie had a different cast, I don't think it would have been as enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
That said, again, no spoilers. Do you guys have any standout characters? Because there were a lot of them.
Boy, yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick one standout from that group.
Rich, anybody?
I'm trying to remember the character's name.
What did they do?
I mean, he was in it for most of the movie. He had the guns that he took off of his costume.
Oh, Idris Elba, Bloodsport.
No, that's not his name. What was his name? Milton. That's his name.
Oh,
You.
God damn it. He said no spoilers. God.
Look, I don't think his name being Milton is a spoiler.
Way to just out his secret identity. What a dick.
Honestly, like, Idris Elba, standout character, 100%. Like, he's a fantastic actor. We already went over this earlier. But besides him, I really think Margot Robbie did I wasn't all about Harley in the first Suicide Squad, and I never saw the Harley movie, so I can't really say. But like, I feel like she did a really good job as Harley in this one.
This one gave her the best material to work with, I think.
Yeah.
Like, her little, like, plot B thing of being with the president guy stuff and being captive and everything was actually, like, it gave her a chance to be a kind of a different character.
Yeah.
And I saw online today, apparently, so, like, spoilery-ish, but not really. There's the scene where she's being held hostage, and her arms are chained above her head, and she kills the guy, and then steals the keys and unlocks the lock with her feet.
Yeah.
Apparently, that wasn't a stunt double. Like, that was actually Margot Robbie doing all of that. Like, she did the whole, like, picking up the keys and putting it in the lock and turning the lock to, like, free herself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It was, it was something that James Gunn mentioned in, like, an interview, and he's like, the worst part is, when I got to the edit room, I realized that the way the cuffs are on her, it blocks her face during the scene, so everyone's just gonna think it was a stunt double.
Mm-hmm. But I loved, like, all of the main cast was just, like, King Shark was fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
I felt for him, and then just any time Polka Dot was going
Polka
crazy.
Dot Man?
Anytime he was going crazy, like, because of what he sees, it's just, like, I loved it. But, yeah, King Shark, like, I'd said multiple times while watching it, if King Shark dies, we, like...
I mean, there were a lot of characters where, and because there were a few times where, like, there were certain characters where, like, you thought maybe they were going to die, because really, like, James Gunn didn't hold back. There's a lot of death in this movie, and a lot of it is definitely unexpected.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there were characters like that, like, where it's like, oh man, if this character dies, like, it's going to be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes the character dies, sometimes they don't. Like,
yeah.
It is hard to pick, like, just one or two characters that were standout, because, like, neither of you guys mentioned Peacemaker. Like, John Cena was fantastic in that role.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you forced me to pick one, it was probably going to be Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Although King Shark, like, it real tough to pick between those two.
Yeah, and like I said it in the group chat, whatever day we had all confirmed watching it, but that scene where they're walking through the woods and Bloodsport says something about Peacemaker like eating a bunch of dicks, and just the conviction with which John Cena delivers if this whole beach was covered in dicks, I would eat every single one of them for justice. Was just like that was Oscar nomination level conviction right there.
And even with Capaldi playing what's his name, like you didn't get a lot of him, but he did, like, based on what I really know of him just from The Flash, like he did a really good job with that character.
And that's a different thinker also.
Yeah.
So that was not DeVoe, which is who it was in The Flash. This was something with a G that I can't remember. But what was I going to say? Yeah, but he was very good though. I liked him a lot as that character. Also, like Ratcatcher 2, she was also fantastic. Like, she was the one character that, like, she wasn't bad the way everybody else was. Like, she actually cared about, like, stuff and felt bad for what they were doing.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's all of the main cast. Just all the main cast just did a really good job. And, like, like, they were just perfectly casted. Each of them just knew what they were doing and knew how to do it. Like, just having Stallone do the VO for King Shark was perfect. And, like, the way they wrote King Shark was amazing. And having each of these characters each of these actors portray these characters the way they did, like, I don't think you could have done any better casting, which is why it's that hard to pick a number one standout.
Yeah. And Nathan Fillion as TDK was also amazing. And I could not for the life of me figure out what TDK was. And then he showed his powers, and he's fucking Arms Falls Off Boy from the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
They just changed his name. Yeah, but no, like, his original name from, like, the 80s was Arms Fall Off Boy.
That's stupid. I hate it. I love it. That's stupid. But, like,
he's right up there with Matter Eater Lad.
Like, I was, a good podcast, or a good interview to listen to is, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Flula Borg. Freaking hilarious. And he did great for the amount of time that we saw him as Javelin. Like, it's just... Yeah. Like, they even with all of that stuff, like, with that, what happened in the beginning of the movie, it just...
I can't remember the rat's name either, but Ratcatcher 2's, like, pet rat was also fantastic, and... Spash? Okay, that's what I wanted to say, but in my head I couldn't think of it. And the fact that, there's that one scene, I forget exactly when it is, but he comes up to Idris Elba with, like, the pretty leaf, and, like, Idris Elba has that fear of rats, and Ratcatcher 2's just like, oh, he brought you a pretty leaf. And Idris Elba's just like, what the fuck am I going to do with a leaf?
When they were with when they were with the freedom fighters, and the one asked the army dude, I can't remember his name, like, did that rat she was like, did that rat just wave at me? He's like, yeah. And it's just like, it's great. It was great.
All right, so at this point I'm going to ask you guys about spoilers. So if you're listening, you have not seen the Suicide Squad, now would be a good time to stop listening and go watch the Suicide Squad. Because, now we are going to talk spoilers. Any moments in the movie that specifically stand out for you guys?
Let me go first real quick, because it goes off what you just mentioned with them getting into the freedom fighters and the fact that they did not know they were good guys and murdered fucking basically all of them.
Yeah, that was such a cool scene, because it was just them going through and just, like, taking out who you thought were the bad guys, like, and, like, just, like escalating viciousness.
Levels of violence. Like, and you are totally led to believe they are the bad guys. Like, you are given no indication they should not have been murdering these people until you see the guy just sitting there, and it's like, oh shit. And they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, Rick Flag's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And the freedom fighter leader's just like, why didn't my men alert me that you guys were here? And they're like, what men? We didn't see any men.
Yeah. It's just, and, like, it was straight up just Bloodsport and John Cena.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker just one-upping each other.
that exploding bullet was great. Like,
Yeah.
he shot the guy, hit him in the shoulder, and Bloodsport's just like, you didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And then it explodes, and just his entire torso is just blown to pieces.
He was like non-lethal, and it was like charged, blah blah blah, explosive round, and then boom. It was great. The entire beginning of the movie, them landing on the beach,
that was super unexpected.
From Weasel not being able to swim to Pete Davidson getting his face shot off was just like pure gold. Because honestly, nothing against Pete Davidson, the guy, but personally, just like when I see him, I just get mad, and I've never really enjoyed his comedy. So like when he died, I got so happy.
Yeah, and
so did Sarah.
Yeah, that whole beginning section though, especially because the movie opens and it focuses on Rooker for like the first 5 minutes. Like, he is sort of like the audience's view into it.
Yeah,
right.
And then you get to this beach. He immediately tries to save Weasel. You find out that Weasel just died, like on impact of the water, basically.
He drowned.
And
he
then,
can't swim.
Yeah, and then everybody else just starts dying on the beach. And they killed Captain Boomerang. Like, he got about 30 seconds in the movie. Mm-hmm. The only two people from the first movie that weren't just dead immediately were Rick Flag and Harley.
Yeah.
They killed all of the characters that they just kind of introduced. Nathan Fillion, Weasel, Mongal, who I've never heard of Mongal, but she's definitely related to Mongol, the Superman villain. And Javelin all just got brutally fucking wrecked in the beginning of the movie. And then Michael Rooker just he plays this like creepy tough guy, like you think he's just sort of some sort of like psychopath. And then everyone starts dying, and he just fucking books it and tries to swim away, and they blow his brain bomb. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And that's why, like, I thought it was just going to end up being a rescue mission to get Flag or something like that, because, like, he had intel. And then for that, like, to immediately find out, like, oh no, Team B is just on the other side. This was just a diversion. We didn't tell him. Just like, damn, that's...
Yeah. And that, like, I feel like they did a really good job of explaining how heartless... what's her name is?
Waller, yeah.
Waller.
So,
like, she didn't even care about Flag, because she knew that was going to be there.
Yeah, and so James Gunn said that she played such a good Amanda Waller that he was afraid to give her directions between scenes.
Huh. Yeah.
What did you guys think of Starro as the quote-unquote villain?
When I first heard that it was a fucking starfish was the villain, I was like, this fits. Like, this is exactly what I expect from a James Gunn fucking Suicide Squad. But then when I found out, like, what Starro was, or at least this version of Starro, I was like, wow, this is even more badass than I was expecting.
And that was basically what Starro is in the comics, too.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
This, I was doing a little bit of reading because I wanted to know what Starro was. Like, it was like the first main villain that the Justice League had defeated.
Huh.
Like, this was a Justice League level villain.
So that I don't know if that's true for like historically, but that's in the like the Rebirth stuff. They fought Jarro or Starro because Batman actually took a piece of him and put him in a jar, and he became Jarro, like a little mini version of himself. That thought of he literally thought of Batman as his dad and called him Dad. And he was a wonderful character, and he hasn't been around in a while, and I miss him dearly.
Yeah. So like for them to take like a Justice League level villain and put them up against the Suicide Squad and like this like ragtag misfit group of Suicide Squad.
They're always the ragtag misfit group.
Yeah. But like I was like shocked, but I loved it. It was great.
It was also a bummer. They killed the one guy who actually had powers that would like be good against him, like almost immediately. Because as soon as they started fighting Starro, Polka Dot Man bit it.
Well, yeah, and that's why they had like Polka Dot Man would have been able to take out Starro without blinking an eye if he had just continued to use his powers. But that's why they had to kill him.
We kind of glanced over it earlier before spoilers, but the fact that like when he like for him to really get into like doing stuff, he pictures the enemy as his mom.
Yeah.
Because his mom experimented on him and gave him these powers that like he hates. And like when he just saw his mom as a giant, like, when they were fighting Starro was amazing.
That was funny.
To have this is my like one of my favorite parts was to have the whole every Avengers meeting on the freeway and everyone explaining and the Hulk smash part. But instead it was nom noms and that's your mom. What the fuck, James?
Actually,
this is fantastic.
You know what? I laughed at that part. I did not think about how close that was to the Justice League bit.
Yeah, yeah.
The Avengers bit.
Yeah, and that's it was they all grouped up in the center and it was all right, you all do your thing, and his Hulk smash was that's your mom, and I was just and then he sees his giant mom attacking a fucking building. It's just it was too good. Yeah, they did do a very like I said, the plot was kind of unnecessary. Because really, nothing really came of any of that other than Starro got unleashed, and they then killed Starro. Them being there, it's kind of like Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark. If Indy wasn't there, none of the bad stuff would have ever happened. The Nazis would have never found the Ark of the Covenant. No, I mean...
and it's if the Suicide Squad wasn't there, none of the bad stuff would have ever happened.
It's the opposite. If Indy wasn't there, it just would have taken them longer to find the Ark of the Covenant. It's not that
no, because they would have never put two and two together. They were Nazis. They're stupid. Don't give Nazis credit. That's not what you're supposed to do.
But it's they were in Indy, they were on track of finding it.
Dude, they were digging on the wrong side of the hill.
But they would have gotten there eventually.
To stop giving Nazis credit.
I'm not look, it's just Indiana Jones and the Ark of the Covenant. Indy didn't need to be there.
So Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, yeah. But in this one, if the Suicides, you're right. If the Suicide Squad wasn't there, pretty much none of that would have happened except Starro would have been released, and then it would have been just a Justice League level event instead of a Suicide Squad level.
They're
event.
the reason Starro was released because they blew up the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the general would have eventually, or the general or president of Corto Maltese would have released Starro on the world at one point.
Yeah, and then Superman would have taken care of it. Because I'm sure he was out of the ICU. Also, that was fantastic. That was such a small, one-off line. But it's finding out that Bloodsport was in prison because he put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was good.
It was a good way for them to essentially explain the fact that during Starro's attack, no heroes actually did arrive. Because the fastest hero, or the second fastest hero, Superman, is probably still in the ICU and hurt.
Superman heals fast. Come on, he took a nuclear bomb, and then as soon as the sunlight hit him, he was okay.
Yeah, but that's a nuclear bomb. That's not a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah, but as long as they got the bullet out and then put a UV light on him, he'd be fine.
Yeah, maybe.
True.
That's literally Superman heals as soon as the kryptonite's away from him.
Yeah.
It might suck to get it out, but as soon as it's out, he's good.
Yeah.
Unless it was one of those like a hollow point bullet and fragmented.
Yeah.
That would probably flat out kill Superman. That's probably why he was in the ICU though. It might have fragmented, and that might be where he was.
I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but apparently originally Idris Elba was going to just be a recast for Deadshot. And they decided to they kept him the same, they kept the plot about him the same, but they made him Bloodsport instead in case Will Smith ever wants to reprise the role.
Okay.
So at some point there could be a movie with Will Smith and Idris Elba playing opposing shooty guys.
Playing basically the same character?
I mean, almost exactly, because they were both parents and everything like that, and yeah.
And that was the best line between Peacemaker and Bloodsport was Waller explains Bloodsport and then goes and explains Peacemaker and says the exact same thing, and Bloodsport's like, did something just happen? You said exactly the same thing as me. And then Peacemaker's like, yeah, but I do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I love the little, I guess, twist on Peacemaker at the end with...
Yeah.
He had his own mission. And again...
Well, he's getting another mission, because there is going to be an HBO Max Peacemaker series that is going to debut in January.
Well, I'm talking about why Peacemaker wasn't in the final fight. He had his own mission to recover... the data.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the after credit scene.
No, not the after credit scene, which that was good too. But like he was that little like tidbit about with him having his own little mission again feeds more into the fact that Waller doesn't give a shit. Like she's brutal.
Yeah, and she did not want that data off the island. She wanted it to blow up with the building because it implicated the United States with those things, the Starro stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great movie.
To rewind back to like when Harley was captured real quick though, that like weird sort of rom-com thing they had going on for like 10 minutes of that movie where like she was basically being wooed by the president of this communist dictatorship.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that he's been killing kids and she just kills him and she's just like, after I broke up with my ex, I told myself as soon as I saw a red flag, I'd have to just do the right thing and just kill that person. And killing kids is a major red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like there were all those weird scenes of like them like eating dinner and watching things and like going to that weird bird sanctuary thing that he had.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All while she is still wearing the same like, well, not even the same, but like the red dress with like blood and stuff on her face.
Uh-huh.
No, she didn't have any blood on her face.
Oh, I thought she did.
No, they cleaned her up.
Did she wipe that off? Okay, they did clean her up.
Yeah, she was in a hole and they took her out of the hole and cleaned her up, put makeup on her.
Right. I was getting things out of order. That's right. But yeah, that was was very good.
The javelin, like, take this and then he dies. She's like, For what?
And then when she got it later, I turned to Sarah. I was like, oh, she's totally going to be the one that kills the fucking giant starfish.
But really, it was the rats.
It was the rats.
True, but they wouldn't have gotten in there without her, or they might not have gotten in there without her popping the eye.
I mean,
yeah.
it just would have taken them a little bit longer to chew through the eye hole. Or to chew through the eye layer, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know, like,
Who knows?
that eye gave out a little too easily, even if it might be, like, a special javelin.
Wait, have you ever, like, you know eyes are incredibly fragile, right?
Yeah, which means I feel like...
This was a full-sized human with a pointy stick flying through the air into that eye. Like, of course it's going to give quick.
Yeah. But that was... I do like that, yeah, it was Ratcatcher 2 that saved the day fully. Like, if she wasn't there, they probably wouldn't have been able to win.
And her dad was Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. He was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who her dad was. Which, as soon as I realized that when they showed, like, a good shot of him, I'm just like, oh, man, look. That's great. Because I think him and Gunn are friends because of all the... Like, I don't know if they were friends before, but with all the Marvel movies and Thor and the Guardians crossing over with their next two movies, like, I think that they've just been working together more to make sure that, like, the scripts for those two movies don't, like, fuck each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suicide Squad was a fun movie. It's probably the most fun a DC movie has been.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't go so far as to say it was the best. I feel like I think Aquaman was maybe slightly better, but like they're just as enjoyable. This one might be more enjoyable, but Aquaman might be a little bit better, if that makes sense.
I think Aquaman, Shazam, and this one are all they don't quite have the same like synergy that like the Marvel movies have, but they have they're starting to learn how to balance the action and the comedy and the seriousness and not have it just be like this dark, foreboding just thing the whole time. Yeah. And like, we talked about it when it came out, like, the Snyder cut of the Justice League was a better cut of the Justice League, but if your movie has to be 4 hours to be better, it's not a good movie.
No.
And like, I still stand by, like, the first Wonder Woman is the best, like, film of the DC movies. Like, it's got good action, good comedy. It's a good story, start to finish. Like all comic book movies, the villain was sort of lackluster, but other than like Thanos and Loki, like that's kind of been the case in all of these movies. But yeah, it was fun though.
It was,
yeah, for sure.
I will probably watch that again at some point. Not soon, but like eventually.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say about the Suicide Squad before we wrap up?
Oh, just real quick. Richie was right. Starro was literally the first ever Justice League enemy.
Oh, okay, cool. I did not know that.
First ever issue of Justice League, it was them fighting Starro.
Does it say what year that was? Because I'm just wondering if it's like modern age Justice League or like the golden age. Okay, so like this. Okay, so the Silver Age stuff. All right.
So
you have like
the debut of the Justice.
Yeah. So because there was like the Justice Society, I guess, was the original form, and that was, I don't think Superman was on that at the time, but like it's weird the way that they do that stuff.
So it was issue 28 of The Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
Which was the first time they were ever called the Justice League of America.
Nice. And that was like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, like that sort of team?
Well, the cover definitely has Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, and then someone in the lower left I don't recognize.
I'll have to look that up afterwards, because now I'm curious. But because I think, the Golden Age stuff, like the 30s, 40s, 50s, would have been like the Justice Society, which would have had Jay Garrick Flash, the one that wears the tin helmet, Alan Scott Green Lantern, which wears like a red suit with a cape, and then like some other like 40s heroes. And that was just very different than what like the Justice League became, with fighting cosmic threats and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize that, because I know in Scott Snyder's Justice League run from a handful of years ago, Starro was one of the first things that they dealt with also. So I don't know if that was an intentional, like, hey, it's my first Justice League story, so I'm going to harken back to like the original Justice League story, or if it's just a coincidence.
No, I'm gonna have to imagine that was intentional. You would hope.
You never know with
hope
comics.
if that's the case. You're not wrong, but you would kind of hope that like they would that a choice like that was intentional.
So down in
mean?
that bottom left character is Martian Manhunter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that is interesting though. That is definitely interesting. But yeah, I guess that is probably it for this week. Unless Rich, you have anything else?
I do have one quick thing.
Okay.
There is a change.org petition out there right now that I feel like we all should sign. It's get Idris Elba to do the Knuckles rap from Sonic Adventure 2 in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I signed it. My buddy Matt actually created it. It's a very serious topic. We should all sign it. And I shared it on my Facebook, and I'll probably share it on one. That's all.
Okay. And then don't forget, next week, our next book club thing will be AEW All Out 2019 pay-per-view, which is available in 2 parts on YouTube for free.
It is. I watched it again today because I had no work to do. It's so good.
I'm gonna find time probably this weekend while Eric is away to watch. I guess.
I'm hoping I have time to watch it Sunday afternoon or evening. But
if not, just throw it on like Monday while you're doing work.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll most likely do. Instead of watching Critical Role next week, I'll watch that first.
Yeah. Actually, real quick, I watched the first episode of it. Alex, is it? How do you say that? 'Cause I'm going to say it wrong. The current thing
of Critical Role.
Yeah.
Oh, Exandria Unlimited.
Exandria. There you go. Thank you. I watched the first episode of that. The girl they have doing the DMing. She's pretty good. I like her.
Yeah. Abrea Ironguard is a really good DM. She does her own show. She's doing the Critical Role series. She also did a Roll20 series with all of them over at College Humor. She's a lot different from Mercer, which is good. Like, especially for Critical Role fans, they need to see that there's more kinds of DMers than Mercer. And she's very fun because she likes to throw nods to the players even if they fail their roles. Like, kind of being like, all right, well, you missed out on that lore drop. That's your fault. And things like that. I really liked what she did with this. The last episode premieres on Thursday. So, Exandria Unlimited is done on Thursday. We'll see how it wraps up.
Oh, I didn't realize it was... I forgot it was, like, going to be that short of a series.
Yep. Only 8 episodes.
Which, yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'll actually be able to watch all of them, but, I enjoyed the first one.
So, some of some of them are a little bit longer. I think one was, like, 5.5 hours. Just because they are the limited run. And so, like, and like, there was one episode where a majority of the second half of it was just them shopping. And then another episode where, like, the last hour and a half to 2 hours was them being silly in a pageant. And, so it's just like, there is some filler in it, but it's still premium, good, fun content.
Nice. But yeah, so that will do it for this week. Until next week, when we have a another episode. Sorry, I got distracted by something. If you'd like to find more of our content, though, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. But if you can't support us there with your dollars, you can go to your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. and rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And you can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.